Well, when it comes to wages, workers at one restaurant in North Carolina have just gotten a big bump. So workers at a restaurant chain in North Carolina kept getting poached by other restaurants promising to pay them more money. So the company that they were employed at decided maybe we need to do some employee retention here and increase their wages. To which I say, yeah, that's the most obvious thing to do. Now, this is Famous Toastery, a Charlotte-based breakfast, brunch, and lunch chain. And they're raising pay faster than ever before, according to their president, Mike Sabasco. Across the 8 company-owned locations, wages for existing kitchen staff are up about 15% from a year earlier. And look, this is the argument that we hear in other like white collar jobs, right? Like university administrators, presidents. You look at their insane salaries, and the way that universities tend to justify it is, well, I mean, it's talent, and we really got to retain talent. But you never hear that argument extended to other workers, and I'm really happy to see that this is the case here. So President Mike Sabasco said, we didn't want to be as easy to poach. And it isn't uncommon for managers from other companies to come to Famous Toastery's dumpster pads to tell the breakfast chain's workers, hey, come work for me and I'll give you an extra $2 an hour. That's great, by the way. I love that. I love that. Now, to help recover or to help cover the higher labor costs, they have raised menu prices. And so I wanted to get your thoughts on that real quick, Waz, because for me personally, I actually want to pay a fair price for any product, including when I go out to eat. So I would rather see them make a good living wage. And then maybe tips are, instead of feeling mandatory, it's like, all right, this was great service, I wanna add a little extra to it. I feel like that's a better system than essentially subsidizing the workers at these restaurants because the employers don't wanna pay them a living wage.
Yeah, I wish there was a way, because even the spots that are just like, I was in a spot in Miami a few weeks ago, and the guy was like, that 18% that you see added onto your bill is not a tip.
No, like, come on. Like, no, it's getting. Where was this? What state was this?
This was at a Jamaican spot called, what's the name of this damn place? Damn, I forget it. It's in Wynwood. It's got this weird name.
It's
but
Florida.
Yeah, it's in Miami, in Florida. And I was just like, yo, fam, like you have to take that up with your boss. Like, I'm sorry, you can 18% added to a bill is a tip, okay? But what I will say, I just wish that they would just bake it into everything that I'm buying, charge me whatever the 18% is more for my jerk chicken or my stew chicken or whatever the hell that I get when I'm at the spot. Like, just bake it in so that we all understand that every other country knows how to pay restaurant workers an equitable wage. Like, figure it out. This can't be that hard. And so, yeah, I'm happy that people are getting poached and getting better opportunities because whatever. And look, God knows you're not gonna ask the business owner who owns 8 restaurants to take a hit. God knows, because God forbid that happened. Right. No, that's just out of the question. That's bad business, and you don't know. You're not good at business if you ever do something like that. And so pass it on to the customer. But yeah, I feel like this should be a little bit smoother than, a phantom 18% charge that allegedly isn't a tip.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. I mean, yeah, the 18% is definitely a tip. So the point I want to make is, before the financialization of our economy and before globalization and the exploitation of cheap labor abroad, things cost a lot more in America. And guess what? It was actually pretty awesome because we weren't conditioned to buy into consumerism. We weren't conditioned to think that we have to buy all this cheaply made stuff that clutters our homes. You look at stuff that was made in America back in the 50s, 60s, and it's just quality stuff, man. It just is. It is like the workmanship of the clothing that was made by garment workers in America. I know I talk about that a lot because it blows me away. It blows me away that you can buy a dress from the 1950s today and it looks new. How is that even possible? You buy it, not to go after Forever 21 specifically, but come on. Forever 21 epitomizes fast fashion. You buy a dress from Forever 21 today, next week, poof, gone. Don't put that thing in the washer, it's over. And it's what do we really want? Do we want a lot of poorly made stuff cluttering our homes? Or do we want to live in a country that pays its workers a good living wage and a country that employs people who take pride in the work they do, right? That's what I want. So if it means I'm gonna have to pay more at a restaurant or pay more for the clothing that I buy, I'm fine with it as long as I know that on the other side of that is a worker who is made whole and is paid a living wage for the work that they do.
Yeah, you know what's crazy, and it's like, cause I'm into sneakers, right? And most sneakers, Nike, Adidas, it's made abroad, right? And it's made quite cheaply and whatever. They used to put a lot more into what they did, but whatever. Now it's just churn, whatever. And I remember I did a story back when I was working at The Athletic about New Balance, and yeah, I think a third of their production happens in America. And yeah, like a regular New Balance shoe costs about $80. The made in USA costs $190. But guess what, man? I won't have as many of them, but I like them. And it's something, I don't know, there's something about the fact that I went to that factory in Massachusetts, about like an hour or so outside of Boston, and I saw these sneakers, these products being made, and two, the cool thing was it was a bunch of Dominican immigrants in there, man, making this stuff, like a quality wage they getting paid to make these great products. I just thought that was the American dream in action right there, and that was really cool. So I think there's something to what you're saying, although people are gonna watch this and research it, and New Balance is getting sued by a couple of people because I think a couple of their made in USA stuff wasn't actually made at that factory in Mass, but they do produce a lot of stuff out of that factory, and it's great.
And now that I remember what I wanted to say earlier, I'll just say it real quick. There's only one company I can think of that has decided against passing off any inflationary costs to their consumers, and that's Costco. And their business model works. I was just at Costco yesterday. That place is packed.
Costco is a religion. Oh my God. And rightfully so.
Definitely. I love me some Costco all day.
I gotta get some paper towels.
Exactly. Totally.
Some paper towels. I need the big bulk dishwasher soap. Yeah, I need all of that.